Okay, well, we got that's running, right? We're good? Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. We got everybody, we got everybody here. Okay, welcome everybody tonight to the Community Development Meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. Before I get started with the three items on the agenda, I want to let everybody know that Councilman Andrew. Everybody tonight to the Community Development Meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. Before I get started with the three items on the agenda, I want to let everybody know that Councilman Andrew.
Was this one of the residual results of the eclipse from yesterday?
Okay, we're going to try this one more time. Welcome everybody to the Community Development Committee meeting for Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. There are three items on the agenda, but before we go to item one, I'd like to announce that Councilman Andrew Lippian notified me that he could not be here tonight. So I just wanted to let everybody know. First item on the agenda is the approval of the Community Development meeting minutes from March 25th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item two is the matter of a conditional use request for a daycare center to be located at 250 Winkle Street. Please note that this matter was passed by the Planning Commission on April 2nd, 2024. This was referred by Cheryl Carter. Would you like to speak on the topic? Thank you. Just please state your name and address for the record.
My phone?
Cheryl Carter, 1312 Missouri Avenue, Lorraine, Ohio, 44052. I'm really excited about opening up the center over on Winkles Avenue. It was a daycare center for 20 years. And the owners, they were really, really wonderful people, but they said it was a little bit too much for them with all the new laws after COVID. And they thought I would be a perfect fit to reopen a daycare center because of my experience and my love for children. So I would really like for you guys to consider me to open up the daycare back on Winkle Street to create a safe environment for young pre-K through and newborn and school-age children.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Carter. Are there any questions? Mr. Oswald.
Just comment. I was at the Planning Commission meeting. Normally I'm against, right now there's a lot of issues that they don't pass when we ask for daycare as far as square footage, parking, a few other things. But it has been a daycare ever since I remember. The fit over there I feel is good as long as the community around them are okay with it, which it sounds like they are. Ridge Tool is across the street. You've got businesses down one street, businesses down the other. And I would like for everybody, if they could, to come together and support this, because I do know that we need good qualified daycare. And I think that you sound like you got the qualifications, so I just wanted to give my comments in favor of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Oswald. Any other questions? Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you for your investment into Elyria, Mrs. Carter. Are you, just curious, are you the building and the business owner?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm also, Elyria is where I was raised. I went to the elementary school, Hamilton Elementary School, Eastern Heights Elementary, Elyria High School, Ohio Business College, got a business degree, went to Lorain County LCC and got a degree in early childhood education. I've been doing childcare since 2007, and I started my love for helping children with Ohio Reads. I started with Ohio Reads, and ever since then, I fell in love with teaching children.
Well, you've certainly been busy, so.
Yeah.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, questions from anyone on the panel? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Davis.
Through you, Chair, since I'm not on this committee, but I'd just like to commend her for reaching out, because keeping kids nowadays is more than a notion, and thank God that you want to be in the business to have a daycare. When you say school-age children, how did that fit into the daycare?
It's after-school care.
Okay.
Latchkey kids, those that have to let themselves in and out of their homes. I could be there to have the daycare open early in the morning, 5:30 in the morning.
Okay.
And after school, 6 to 6. And I know a lot of the manufacturing get off work about 6. You know, they do first shift. I do first and half a second. And I would love to be able to help out in the community.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Mr. Oswald,
Could you also explain to everybody your amount of employees that you're going to have working over there?
Oh, I would have at least a total of 10 employees: bus driver, cleaner, cook, at least 5 teachers, because we have 4 rooms, a room for each age group. Infant room will have 2, so it'd be like 6 teachers, and a school-age teacher, preschool teacher, and a toddler teacher, and 2 infant and toddler teachers. So total with everyone aboard, about 11. And I'm working with Ohio Means Jobs. They're going to help me get more staff.
excellent, thank you. Are there any other questions? Okay, seeing none, it has been brought to my attention that this was passed by the Planning Commission on April 2nd. However, there were some conditions, so I'd ask Mr. Farkas to please come to the microphone and explain that to us.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Planning Commission did hear the case and approved it with contingencies. On my memo, there were several variances that were needed due to setbacks. As Mr. Oswald indicated, the structure's been there quite a while, but it's lost its non-conforming status, so the setbacks for the side yard, front yard still have to be pursued.
Law Director Deary.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Farkas, if you know, what is the status of you said the variance or variances? Have those been requested? Are they in process?
Mr. Chair, through you to the Law Director, to my knowledge, I'd have to check with the Planning Commission Secretary, but I don't think they've been received as of yet.
The applications, is that what you're referring to?
Nothing has come in as of yet.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? I guess maybe just elaborate a little bit further on what the plan is for the conditions, or maybe Mrs. Carter could, but either way.
Mr. Chair, through you, the next step would be for the applicant to apply through Planning Commission for the variances, and then they would go back through Planning Commission, and since Planning Commission's already heard the case, they would make a decision.
Okay, thank you. Law Director Deary.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. It would be my suggestion that should the committee wish to make a decision and pass a committee report this evening, that the report essentially then would be held in abeyance until the addition of the further conditions are met, meaning the variances. Full council really wouldn't be able to pass any meaningful legislation as far as the conditional use, as long as there's conditions out there that are still outstanding. So there's no reason why you can't meaning the committee can't make a decision on the conditional use right now, but as far as any legislation being drafted, really would need to sit back and wait and see what happens as far as variances. And at this point, based on Mr. Parks' recollection, they've not yet been, the applications haven't yet been received.
Thank you, Law Director. I saw Mrs. Mitchell first, then it'll be Mr. Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to Ms. Carter. What are your plans? Are you in the process of taking care of that variance, getting the application in?
I thought the application did have variance. For variance, I paid for the variance, when I first filled out the application, I made, for all variances and conditional use. So I did make, I thought I had the application right here for the variance. I believe we did fill out a application for the variance, because I did pay the fee for the variance. I don't see it right here. It's not in my notes, but it's probably in my attorney's notes.
Mr. Chair, if I may, I don't have a problem with approving this evening. I think it's a great thing. She's in an area where daycare is definitely needed, but I would suggest, Ms. Carter, that you work with Mr. Farkas to find out what you need and how to get that process going.
Okay, great.
And I wish you much success.
Thank you very much. Thank
Okay.
you all.
Okay, well, we still have a few more questions.
And through you, Mr. Chair, and of course, ma'am, if you do have an attorney, absolutely, and if your attorney wants to reach out to either my office or to the building department, we can look into that further.
Okay, great. Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, this question's probably directed at Law Director Deary. Is there a timetable between, like, if we approved this now and it becoming legislation, will it expire? Is there, like, a certain time frame? Do you get what I'm saying?
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would need to defer to Attorney Craig, who represents the Planning Commission, and Mr. Farkas. The Planning Commission's recommendation, I don't believe has an expiration date on it. If council were to take action on it, there would be, a clock would start ticking. But as far as the committee and Planning Commissions, ultimately there's a recommendation, so no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I guess at just this time, I'd just like to ask to see if the administration wanted to weigh in on this topic in regards to it.
We'll work with Mr. Craig to make sure the correct variances are done.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, seeing no more questions, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a conditional use permit as requested by Cheryl Carter for a child care center at 250 Winkle Street, Elyria. This is an ordinance granting the said permit for the requested child care center. Please note that this matter was passed by the Elyria Planning Commission on April 2nd, 2024 with conditions. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mrs. Mitchell and seconded by Mr. Schneider. Wait, we got a hand up here.
Before we begin, Mr. Chair, through you, I'm looking at the application for the Planning Commission, and it says there's an X next to application for variance, the $100 fee. So it appears that she paid that, or am I looking at that incorrectly? Thank you.
Mr. Chair, through you, I can explain. The original application came in for both, a conditional use and a variance. But unfortunately, a specific code section was not listed, which meant they implied for a blanket variance. Unfortunately, we have to have the exact code section in which they're appealing in order to make it a proper variance.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Then that is something that you can work with her on. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I saw Mr. Oswald with his hand up.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So I guess, let me get this right. We can approve this, but it may fail if they don't get the proper variances.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Oswald, so essentially, this matter would be approved by the committee. It's basically going to be a pause button put on this. It will move forward. My office will draft the legislation once we have the information and the confirmation that the variances have been achieved.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, are there any more questions?
Call for the question.
Oh, call for the question. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, Mrs. Carter.
Thank you.
Thank you. Third item is the matter of accepting a dedication of certain lands, easement, and right-of-way as provided in the final plat of Harvest Meadows subdivision, Phase 3. Mr. Jeffrey Ratushin, just name and address for the record, sir.
Good evening. My name is Jeffrey Ratushin. I'm with K. Hovnanian, and I'm here to present the Phase 3 plat for Harvest Meadows for approval. To give you a little update or a little history on the project, Harvest Meadows is a 4-phase subdivision, currently presenting the 3rd phase of the 4th phase subdivision that was approved as part of the RPUD process back in 2021. Currently, we have 127 lots that have been previously platted as part of phase 1 and 2, and we are currently actively building homes in both of those phases. Phase 3 consists of 59 lots, and we are actually underway with construction out on site right now. They're installing wet utilities, the underground utilities, and we are scheduled to start pavement here in about 30 days, with final lots to be completed by the beginning of August. I guess there are two things to note really about the 3rd phase. The first thing is that we'll be providing a second entrance onto Indian Hollow Road as part of the Phase 3 plat, and then we'll also be installing landscaping and entry fencing to match what's out there, but not compete with the existing entrance.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of accepting the final plat for Harvest Meadows subdivision Phase 3. This is an ordinance authorizing the approval of the final plat for the said subdivision. The plat was approved by the Planning Commission on April 2nd, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mr. Schneider.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Seeing no further items or business for community development, I'd accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Oswald and seconded by Mrs. Mitchell.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Meeting adjourned. Mr. Schneider, she beat you by 1/10 of a second on that second. Good night.
Okay, I will call finance to order. First item on the agenda is the approval of the finance meeting minutes from March 25th, 2024. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 on the agenda is the matter of delinquent utility accounts to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor. Superintendent Connor.
Through you, Mr. Chair. There's a list provided of about a dozen and a half accounts with a total of $10,782.66 for property tax liens for delinquent utility bills. That was approved by resolution board last Friday.
Are there any questions for Mrs. Connor? Yes.
Through you,
Mr.
Mr.
Schneider.
Chair. To Director Connor, I noticed we have a large one for another multifamily. Is this an ongoing, are we noticing a lot of this with multifamily properties in the city?
This one specifically, every quarter we've been leaning this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
And High Point has been paying up recently?
Yes, we actually received another check from High Point today for a monthly bill. So,
Whoa, what a concept.
yes, it's not been posted to the account yet, but it was, I think, about $9,000, so it was a month.
Okay, thank you.
So, you're welcome.
Are there any additional questions? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of inactive delinquent public utility accounts. A resolution authorizing said delinquent accounts to be certified to the Lorraine County Auditor's Office as per the attached list. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, use a voting sign. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3 this evening, the matter of declaring 6 Chronos time clocks to be declared no longer fit for municipal use and to be disposed of by the best means possible. This was referred by IT Director Rothgary. I'm assuming, I did not see him here. I assume we've changed how we do our payroll to all digital or barcode swipers.
Through you, Mr. Chairman, yes, these are older, outdated clocks. I think John's got some more information on it as well.
Yes, Chair, these were clocks from when we built City Hall. They were never really used, so he'd like to get what he can for them, if anything.
Are there any questions for the committee? Members not on the committee? If not, I will read this a two-parter. There will be a resolution and an ordinance because it's the destruction or sale of personal property. Let me read the first resolution. We have considered the matter finding the city has 6 Chronos time clocks unfit for municipal use. A resolution authorizing the Safety Service Director to declare this said city property unfit for municipal use. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded. Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign. Aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. And the second part of this is we have considered the matter of finding the city has 6 Chronos time clocks unfit for municipal use and to be disposed of. An ordinance authorizing the Safety Service Director to dispose of the said city property by best means possible. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, number 4, the matter of the purchase of 5 Ford utility interceptor vehicles to be used for police patrol. Chief Pelko.
Yes, I would like to make a request to purchase 5 2025 police vehicles. Total amount is $241,670. Those will be from Statewide Ford. These vehicles will be used for patrol vehicles, and it'll be through state bid pricing, and the money is appropriated already for it.
Is this an emergency?
If we could make an emergency, that would be good. I don't know how long the PO process is going to be open. I think it's open until June, so it doesn't necessarily have to be one. They're going to notify us if they close the open POs, so.
I would recommend it just because of vehicle pricing potential fluctuations. I'll move it to an emergency.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any questions from the committee? Okay, not having any questions, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the purchase of 5 Ford utility interceptor vehicles through the state bid pricing. Legislation be drawn an ordinance authorizing the purchase said vehicles at a cost of $241,670. Monies have been appropriated. This is an emergency. Can I get a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use a voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5 is the matter of an increase in the price of the Sutphen pumper truck, which was approved by ordinance number 2024-39. This was referred by Chief Pronesti. I had actually spoken to him. Safety Service Director, I'll let you speak on it.
Thank you, Chair. Through you, the difference in price here is we need to increase the approval to $980,437. The reason why is the $950 is if we were paying cash, and we're financing this. So upon further review, we realized that. And so we've been in contact with the company. We're ready to move forward with the contract, but we just need to increase the approval authorizing the expenditure from council. So we're just taking those additional steps to clean that up.
Okay, are there any questions from the committee on this? We approved the original purchase already. Okay, then, seeing no questions, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter, the increase in the cost of a new pumper truck for the fire department. An ordinance authorizing to increase the cost for the purchase, the said pumper truck, from $950,000 to $980,437. I'm going to change this not to exceed 981. Again, this is as an emergency. This will be an increase then. This will be an increase of $31,000 even.
31 even?
See how quick I did that math, everyone? Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Number 6, the matter of advertising for bids and entering into a contract for tree service for the city. Safety Service Director Panowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And through you, we have an ongoing tree service contract. It's for emergency situations. It's for trees that our forestry department can't handle. There's multiple trees, or they're bigger than our equipment might allow for. This was due for renewal end of last year, and it just didn't happen. So what we've done since we got here is we've extended it with the prior provider while we prepare the bid. We've taken that opportunity to update some of the language in the bid documents, and we're ready to move forward with that and put it out there for bid to re-engage another 2-year contract. So we're asking for approval to complete that process.
This was passed by utilities on April 3rd, so all members of the committee are aware. Are there any questions for the Safety Service Director? Yes, Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, is the extension, or is the new contract from like now the extension period, or the original, what was supposed to be the expiration?
Well, it's only a 2-year contract, so if the law director will allow me to do it from when the extension ends, I would prefer to do it that way. But that is a question that I will get clarified before we put it out to bid, so that the time period listed in the bid is accurate.
Okay, thank you.
And we would like this as an emergency if that wasn't said, just so we can move that process along.
Okay, thank you. Okay, it has been marked as an emergency. Are there any additional questions from the committee? If not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a contract for tree services for the city, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to advertise for bids and enter into a contract for tree services. The current contract expired December 31st, 2023. Emergency clause is requested. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, I'm going to give, for items 7 and 8, I'm going to give a quick synopsis of this. This is a request from the EPD and federal government creating the new fund named EPD Equitable Sharing Fund. The purpose of the fund is to deposit EPD's share of seized property obtained in joint investigations. Up until now, we've been depositing these funds, excuse me, into the law enforcement fund, but the federal government requires they not be commingled with other deposits. And then on number 8 with this, the request is to transfer $94,680.21, which has been deposited into the law enforcement fund into this newly created EPD Equitable Sharing Fund. So we'll move first to the matter of creating a new special revenue fund named EPD Equitable Sharing Fund. Director Farrell.
Thank you.
Did I cover it all already?
There's not a whole lot I can add to that.
Okay.
Yeah, so what he said.
Well, it was written out nicely on the paper.
I apologize. Stole your thunder. Is everyone good with this? Okay. I'll read. I'm sorry, Ms. Davis. First, we have to create the new the new fund, and then we'll deposit,
$94,680.21.
It's not 41, I'm just reading my paper. It says 41 cents, I just wanna.
mine says 21.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
It is 41, I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah,
it says
my
41 on here.
synopsis that you read was incorrect. But,
Yeah.
The referral is, and that, it is appropriated as such, as the 41, so. The transfer out of law enforcement.
Are there any other questions from the committee with sharp eyes? Okay, if not, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the creation of a new special revenue fund titled EPD Equitable Sharing Fund, an ordinance authorizing creation of said fund. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And then number 8 is the matter of the transfer of funds from the law enforcement fund to the newly created EPD Equitable Sharing Fund. Okay? Any questions on what's happening here? Or the reasoning behind it, why it has to be that way? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of the transfer of funds in the amount of $94,680.21.
41.
Excuse me, 41. Thought we changed it to set it backwards. From the law enforcement fund to the newly created EPD Equitable Sharing Fund, an ordinance authorizing the finance director to transfer the said funds. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Excuse me. Number 9, the matter of amendments to the 2024 permanent appropriations. Director Farrell.
Thank you, Chairman, through you. There is just the one in the general fund, fire department, increasing the capital outlay from $950,000 to $984,37 for the increase in the fire truck. I guess the question from you, or through you, would be, would you like me to change this to $31,000 if the not to exceed is,
I will defer to the law director on that.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I would say yes. Thank you. Please.
okay, so I'll amend this exhibit prior to the legislation, but, so we're gonna increase it from $950,000 to $981,000.
981 even, correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Director Farrell? If not, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of amendments to the 2024 permanent appropriations, an ordinance authorizing the approval of the attached list of amendments to the 2024 permanent appropriations. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question.
Question's been called. All in favor of the motion, use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And number 10, the final item on the agenda, the matter of the discussion of using space within City Hall to be used for pop-up businesses. This is for discussion only. We will not vote on this. Mayor Brubaker.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, and this might be the most exciting thing on the 10 items that were on the agenda, if I might say so myself. As I have made you aware, we have a space downstairs, or you know this, we have a space downstairs. Actually, it was painted over the last couple days. We'll be using flooring that's left over from our flooring projects to put new flooring in there as well. It was cleaned out, but it's been a glorified storage shed for many years. It's been used for different occasions, from Christmas trees to storage to, I know I served wine out of there for a Pops concert fundraiser. And as I do on many evenings when I can't sleep, I try to come up with things, and Ms. Culvert and I had a conversation about this one day, and it popped up in my head that we could possibly use that space for good and offer it to a small business owner looking to get into the downtown area as a little pop-up business. So as I took this idea to Dawn, we kicked around the idea of maybe 30 days. And as we talked, the 30 days didn't seem enough because it takes 25 days for someone to advertise it and then 5 days to do something with it. So we thought about the idea of a 90-day time frame to use that room down there. And I met with Law Director Deary and Assistant Law Director Bruning to kind of get feedback from them, and it was both of their recommendation, which I agreed with, to bring it to you guys for discussion purposes. And I know Ms. Deary, or Ms. Culvert has also met with Mr. Bruning, I think yet today, to talk about an agreement and those types of things. We do have an application that is out there that they will fill out. We will not use this for food products and cooking and, you know, drinks and pop and coffee, even homemade goods. And Mr. Tollett and I had a conversation about that and some liability that may come with someone making something at home. So we won't allow that. CBD, vape, you know, alcohol, drugs, fireworks. I mean, none of that stuff. So we were kicking that idea around. And then during the ECP event a couple Saturdays ago, I met this young lady and kind of got to talking to her about what she does. And immediately, and she'll probably even state this, immediately I connected with this. This might be a good opportunity to talk to her about this. And I mentioned to her, and she was all on board. And Ms. Culvert and Ms. Holland met last week to kind of talk about some of these things. I believe she does and will have insurance. So the idea is to, whether it's $1 or no charge, enter an agreement with an entity to allow downstairs to be used as a pop-up. It will be only open when City Hall is open. We will not open on the weekends. We will not open when the building's open 8 to 4:30. She will be able to operate down there. It does have a sliding gate and a door that locks. Of course, we won't be responsible for anything, but that will be a part of the agreement. So that's kind of where we're at with that. And Kianga Holland's here from Creations by Kianga, and I tell you that one of the items that I bought from her, and then some of you have heard me say this, she created a box that had a coffee mug in it that she designed with some other goodies and whatnot. It's something similar when you buy a car, they send you a box, a gift, popcorn, chips, whatever. And I actually purchased an item for one of our employees, but I was really intrigued by what she did. And I thought it would be a good fit for the test pilot for this type of program. So with that being said, if Mr. Chairman, if it's okay with you, I know a couple of you have met her already, but I would like to introduce Kianga Holland by Creations by Kianga so she can kind of talk about this opportunity.
Please. Tell us about yourself. We'd love to hear from you because I think this is an outstanding idea.
As the mayor said, my name is Kianga Holland. I am the owner-operator of Creations by Kianga. The box that the mayor is speaking of is a box I created called the Hug Box. It was created because I had a friend that was going through some things and I felt like she needed a hug. But I'm in Ohio and she's in Texas. So I created this box and it's a mug, and the mug says it's a hug in a mug. And then my husband had the brilliant idea to throw a slate coaster in there, and it says a hug for your mug. So the mug has a hug and you get a hug. And it also has a pair of warm socks and a pair of Hershey's Hugs chocolates. And there's a card that goes on top of the box that says, here's a hug for you when I can't be there. And so that's just one of the things that I've curated for my business. I started my business in October. I've been in hospitality almost my entire life. I worked for Apple for several years, so I have a strong customer service background, and customer service and making people smile is my passion. And so these gifts that I will have that'll be in my pop-up downstairs will be mugs, T-shirts, tumblers. Dawn asked me to put some plants in there, so I will have some plants so people can put them on their desks. There will be keychains, ornaments, you name it, it'll be down there so that I can spread a little bit of cheer to people coming in and out of City Hall and to everybody that's in downtown Elyria. My goal is to get exposure for my business, and it's also to one day see if I can become a business owner in downtown Elyria.
When this was shown to me, the first thing I thought of is how many of us forget about somebody's birthday last second. What could I get them? Or an employee is retiring, or these are used all the time. Local car dealers use these. If you buy a new or used car from them, it shows up at your house. This huge market for this, and so please, I invite other members of the committee. Yes, Ms. Mitchell, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm not on this committee, but thank you. But to you, Mr. Brubaker, I thank you because you didn't have to bring this to us. You didn't need our approval to do this. So I appreciate that you did, and I love this idea. I think it's awesome. I wish you much success, and I can't wait to see what comes next. Find her a spot downtown Elyria. I think it will be great. So congratulations to you.
Mr. Armstrong was next.
Through you, Chair. I'm not on this committee, but I have a question to you, Mr. Brubaker. So after Mrs. Holland completes her 90 days, how do we choose the next 90-day recipient?
Through you, Mr. Chairman, and that's exactly what Law Director Deary and Assistant Law Director Bruni asked me. We'll have an application process, and as we get those applications, as long as it doesn't violate what we want in an agreement, we're just going to do it as the next person that sets it up, we'll just move into that next 90 days. We're not going to pick and choose who we think is. It'll just be by, the application process. Unless, we start getting hundreds of these, well, then we'll have to make look at a different avenue. But, and to your point, through you, Mr. Chairman and Ms. Mitchell, just keep in mind that the conversation about this discussion originated with my discussion with the law director, and we all agreed that bringing it here would be the right thing, so.
Yes.
Through you, Chair. I thank you for this opportunity to talk. Is there like a price range that your gifts are in? Like if they start at $5 to go to $50 or $75, how's your price range?
So I have keychains that will start at $3.
Okay.
Which will be various keychains, whether it be the zodiac signs all the way up into dog mom and cat mom keychains. So those are all $3. Mugs will be $10 to $15, depending on the size of the mug. And then there'll be T-shirts. I'm working on some T-shirt designs. This is one I designed with the falls on it. Just playing around with some ideas. There's going to be a price point for everything, to be honest. The gift boxes or the hug box that the mayor bought was $20. So there shouldn't be anything in there that's higher than $30, just to be on the safe side, to keep things affordable and easy access.
Thank you so much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Mr. Schneider.
Through you, Mr. Chair, to Mrs. Holland, I wish you the best of success in your 90-day period, and I hope you can open up a storefront. My question to you originally was just answered. I was going to ask you if your shirt was your creation, which you just answered, so it looks pretty cool. And then my second question is directed to Mayor Brubaker. Is there any way when these pop-ups open that we can put some signage on the west side of the building? Because I think a lot of foot traffic doesn't go past the building department and the water department.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chairman, I think Mr. Tollett had mentioned that to me. The director had mentioned to me about the backside. We're also looking at potentially, as long as it doesn't violate any zoning, I don't want to violate our own zoning code, is put a small sandwich sign out front. Plus, you'll have the opportunity, there's a nice big window right there. So we will help, and we'll put it on our Facebook page and those types of things as well. So we will help out with getting the word out for her.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Oswald.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thanks for letting me speak. Couple things. First, what department's gonna handle the information application? But I got another question you can. But then I just wanted to make the comment, my wife is always ordering stuff on Amazon. And you know what, it's so impersonal. But you know what, when you can have a place that's local, that's in your city, that you could run and say, oh crap, like you said, I forgot my anniversary today. I can go down and get something from you. I think that's a great idea, you know, the wealth of
Or if
good
you
luck.
plan ahead and reach out to me, I can make custom mugs. So if you have a cat, I can put your cat on a mug. You have a dog, I can put your dog on a mug.
Love it.
I can put it on a tote bag. I can engrave it on a keychain. So if we plan ahead, we can do all kinds of creative stuff.
You put Amazon out of business.
Through you, Mr. Chair, just for the record, Mr. Tolet did not forget anyone's anniversary. I just want to make sure that when Mr. Rosado goes to do minutes, that's not on the record.
And my birthday is in June, for everyone's knowledge, so. Mr. Armstrong.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Mrs. Holland, do you have a catalog of all your items that you offer? So when a person comes, they want to spread your word and all your good stuff you have for sale?
So I have a website, I have an Etsy page, and I will have a catalog available when I come into the pop-up shop. I'm working on that right now.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Through you to the mayor, perhaps I'm putting the cart before the horse, but when her 90 days are up, and I'm speaking success for you, she's going to need a place to go. So do we have a place in mind, or is that still in the works?
Well, through you, Mr. Chairman, first to Mr. Oswald, I get a chance to say, that's going to be done through Ms. Culvert. And to answer your question through you, Mr. Chairman, to Mrs. Mitchell, the objective over that 90 days is to be working with our downtown spaces to find her home. I know we have a certain developer in the area that's trying to push something. If we can get that squared away, where she was working out of, that would be an opportunity. So there are some options that we have, but the idea is a part of the redevelopment of downtown is to try to find a home for her in the downtown area, provided this opportunity projects enough for her to want to make that commitment.
50 years ago, a mayor said to me, I was young, real young, that it's the mayor's job to show our businesses how they can't, not tell them why they can't. And this is the exact perfect thing, Mayor. So again, I want to compliment you on this. Yes, whoever had their, Mr. Sarah.
Mr. Chair, so, yeah, I love this idea as well. And I have to go back to the small business thing we had a few weeks ago. That mini mall down on Broad Street would be a perfect spot for something like that if this were to take off for her. And I wish her nothing but the best.
Okay. Well, if we have no more questions or comments, I would accept a motion to adjourn finance.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been moved and properly seconded.
Question?
Question's been called. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all, and best of luck to you.
Thank you.